What's going on YouTube? OCD for EDC here. Alright, so today I put some of this stuff out on my Instagram and I've showed a few pictures and whatnot, but this has taken me a little longer than I expected or wanted it to, just due to work schedule and life happening. But what I've got here are three. These are TwoSun TS127. This is a Wong design. There you go. And I've got three different models here. This one happens to be, you can read it there, in 12C27 blade steel. This one is constructed a little bit differently, which we'll talk about that in a second. But this one is in 14C28N. And this bad boy right here is in S90V. So, I did cut testing between these three knives, and I figured what better way to check out all the steels here and get the exact same blade, same grind. All of these guys are between 13 and 17 thousandths behind the edge, so they're all relatively close. Blades do vary slightly in length, so that's kind of interesting. If you can see here, we can line the pivots up exactly, and you can see here that the S90V blade, the one in my left hand, is just slightly longer. And we'll see if we can set all three of them up here and get all the pivots lined up. So you can see there, I'll try and get that line. So yeah, they all vary just a little bit in length. And then you can also see that the blades were finished a little bit differently. Up here on the top where there's this jimping and kind of a thumb ramp area right there, on these two are newer models. They're kind of a bead blasted finish right up on top there, and then you've got the satin flat ground blades, but you can also tell a difference in the metal on these two. The S90V just looks different compared to the 14C28N. And then on the 12C27, this was the original model. This one here has a satin finish on the spine of the blade, where like I said, the other two have got like kind of a bead blasted finish. But again, with the 12C27 and the S90V, you can really tell a difference. Both are satin flat grind, but the S90V just has a little bit different appearance. As far as the construction on these knives, as you can see, these two are identical. You got G10 carbon fiber bolsters, titanium liners with a hardened steel insert. You can see the screws in there. I'm not going to disassemble anything in this video. I'm just going to try to keep this one pretty short and sweet. But all three of these guys are riding on ceramic ball bearings, so from that aspect, they're all the same. They all have flipper tab, and then of course you've got the hole there at the front that allows you to do the Spidey flick, or you can thumb flick it, which I kind of screwed that up, but on camera it's a little bit of a bitch. Anyway, you do also have the titanium gear pattern backspacer, and the pattern changes. You get smaller spacing around the butt of the knife, so just really nicely done. And so for the 12C27 and the S90V, these knives are identical. Titanium, a milled titanium pocket clip, backspacer, liners, carbon fiber, G10. Both of these guys are extremely quality, just really nicely built. Both have the hardened steel lock insert. You can see a little bit of difference here. It appears that this blade stock is thicker. It's not. There's some bevels ground on either side up here. all three of these guys are running 3mm blade stock. And then the distal taper on these guys is really aggressive. Out towards the end of the blade, it gets extremely thin. It's a pretty fine tip out there. So all three of these knives are really great slicers. And so construction difference here on this guy, you've got this laminated colors of G10 here that's then milled and contoured, which these guys are contoured as well. So that's the same. The contouring is the same. However, this guy has some texture. It's kind of hard to tell because of the pattern there, but I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I'm just running my fingernail across there. So it is kind of rough just out here on the edges. In the center, it's pretty smooth. And then you've got a carbon fiber backspacer, which still has the gear pattern. It still changes the spacing around the end of the knife. Now these here are stainless steel liners, still riding on ceramic bearings, so action is really great. Centering is perfect on all three of them. Really zero quality issues. And you also have a fold over deep carry steel pocket clip here. Pocket clip works great. It's got good retention. In and out of the pocket's fantastic. I do have a full review on the TS127, the 12C27 version. So if you want to check this knife out, this happens to be one of my favorite EDC knives. They're really fantastic. If you got big ass hands like I do, this is a great knife. You know, it's yeah, really, really great piece. There is a little bit of a weight difference here. So I'll show that off here real quick. And so this one here, this is the 12C27. So you're looking at 4.65 ounces. Here's the S90V, 4.63. And then you've got the steel liner version here. This one's a little heavier, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 4.74, basically 4.75 ounces. So a little bit heavier on this guy, but still, you know, action's great. It's a great knife. And, you know, I think you can pick these things up for like around $40. Just a super, super great knife for the money. So anyway, because this one is steel liners, it does not have the hardened steel insert. But otherwise, they are identical in every other way with the exception of the blade steel. So let's get into it. How did these guys fare? There were a few surprises along the way. I was expecting a little bit different result, but anyway, so let's get, yeah, that's the S90V. We'll slide these two guys off to the side for right now. So on this guy right here, 12C27, TwoSun TS127, I did two, or actually 3 cut tests total, but I kept the results of 2. And so for test number 1 on 12C27, oh, and just to recap, I do my cut test the same way the other guys do, like Super Steel Steve, Outpost 76. I'm cutting cardboard. What I use to sharpen my knives, I use a DMT coarse, DMT fine. I'm just sharpening by hand, you know, roughly at about 15 degrees per side. And then I'm running on a strop. I've got 1 micron and then half micron paste on balsa wood. I'm using the 1 micron on balsa wood and the half micron on leather. And that's it. Pretty simple. And so I'm bringing them up to, you know, hair shaving sharp and then starting my cut test. And at the point that it'll no longer shave hair, that's the fine edge results. And then when it'll no longer cut held sheet of printer paper, that's the working edge. So let's get into it here. Test number 1, 12C27. Fine edge holding was 99.1 feet. Working edge for test number 1 was 182.3 feet. So I was pretty impressed with 12C27. The 99 feet, I feel like that's a pretty good result for what this knife is. The 182 feet kind of surprised me. I really didn't think that it was going to go that far. So we did a validation test. I resharpened a knife, and this is all within a 1 inch section of blade. I taped all the blades off in 1 inch section of blade. But I resharpened the knife, went again. Fine edge holding on test number 2 was 103.8 feet. So essentially about a 4 foot increase. So 4% basically. And then working edge was 188.5 feet. So I had an increase of about 6 foot on the working edge, and that's well within just margin of error. So yeah, so basically, right around 100 foot fine edge and around 185 foot or so working edge would be the average here. And I think those are pretty respectable numbers for 12C27. So, the next knife, 14C28N. This knife, same sharpening method, all that, nothing changed. Fine edge, test number 1, it did 99.8 feet. So, you can see fine edge was right in line with the 12C27, which kind of surprised me. I really expected the 14C28N to do better than that. I expected it to do better than the 12C. However, fine edge holding, it's right in the same category, and it's kind of funny when this thing felt a little different sharpening it, and it wasn't as easy to get the burr off on this guy. It was just a little strange, but anyway, the fine edge went away fairly quickly. However, the working edge on this guy, 236.1 feet. So that's a pretty good increase over the 12C27, which averaged about 185 feet. So we did test number 2, and for test number 2, fine edge holding on 14C28N was 102.4 feet, and working edge was 241.5 feet. So again, almost the exact same results in both working edge and fine edge. I really thought this would do better, like I said, in the fine edge holding, but for whatever the reason, the fine edge just goes away pretty quickly on the 14C28N. So I do have a few other knives in 14C28N that I want to test. I've always liked this steel. Both 12C27 and 14C28N. Those have kind of been favorite budget steels in my book. They've always just seemed to work really well over the years, and so I'm definitely going to do some more testing with 14C28N just to see how others hold up. And then we come to the S90V. Now, I did have a TwoSun knife in S90V, their little slip joint. I only had it for a little while, and I wasn't so impressed with the blade steel on that guy. So I didn't really know what to expect with this one. However, that little slip joint that I had in S90V, that was made quite a while ago, like close to a year ago, I think. And this guy in S90V just came out. So this has only been available for, I don't know, maybe a month or something. So I don't know if they've, changed the way that they're doing their heat treat on S90V or what. Maybe they've learned how to handle it better or something. I don't know. But either way, let's get into it here. So S90V fine edge holding for test number 1 was 132.5 feet. And working edge was 422.3 feet. That's impressive. That's better than I was expecting. I think I've seen some S90V that has done better than that. But this is the first legitimate S90V test that I have done. And I'm pretty impressed with the way it held up for sure. This stuff sharpens fantastic. The edge comes up just really, really nicely, and just a really, really fine edge. The burr just basically falls off this guy. It's really fantastic and a pleasure to sharpen. But anyway, so for test number 2, fine edge holding on this guy was 138.1 feet. Working edge was 433.5 feet. So there you go, guys. So we're looking at, if we just kind of average these out, of course our S90V is our winner here, which should definitely be the case. 14C28N in the middle, and then the 12C27. So basically what you've got here is 135 foot fine edge, and we'll call it 428 foot or so average on the working edge for S90V. 14C28N, you got right around 100 foot fine edge, and you've got roughly 238 foot or so working edge. And for the 12C27, you got right around 100 foot fine edge and about 185 foot working edge. So that's how these 3 stack up. I'm pretty impressed with all 3 of them. The construction quality and stuff of all 3 knives is just fantastic, especially for the money. You can buy any one of these knives. Well, of course, this one here is cheaper. But even these 2 guys, you're talking titanium liners, hardened steel insert, over travel stop, ceramic detent ball, ceramic bearings. Even this guy has ceramic detent and bearings. Titanium pocket clip, G10, carbon fiber, S90V, and you can buy this knife for like, I don't know, $85 or something, $90. It's pretty unbelievable. And it's a good looking knife. It's a great design, super comfortable. It's ergonomic, and with the opening hole, the thing is just a joy to use. It just rockets out. I can't say enough about this knife. This is definitely one of my favorites, and when I saw that I could get them in different blade steels, just a really, really great knife. Does fingerprint pretty easily, as you can see there, but quality wise, lockup on these guys is, I don't know, you probably got 25 or 30% on this guy. This one's kind of early, but I may not have flipped it very well. So yeah, you got probably 20-25% there. And on my original, yeah, fairly early lockup there, but definitely not, safe lockup. And just, yeah, I can't say enough about the quality of these knives for the money. Is pretty impressive. So anyway, guys, that about does it for tonight's video. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.